until I never realized it until June 9th. And then all of a sudden in 4 days, everything was a whirlwind. Woo! One day they're there, the second day they're there, the third day they're there. It was basically done, 3 to 4 days after, right? And I was like, wow. And then I was like, this is nice. It's the only crap hole in my my unit now is the carpeting, right? But I guess, well, they promised me that,
in
but
regards
I
to
don't.
The carpeting, I do want to tell you a little bit about the carpeting. So, interestingly, since your apartment's in rent control, any complaints that you have that the landlord, like if you have problems with your landlord, and you want to ask them questions, you go normally to the housing department. It's called HCIDLA, so it's Housing Community Investment Department for the state of LA, right? And then the other is the health department. Sometimes call them for help for situations that sometimes they that are related to health issues. So like roach infestation, bed bugs, mold are usually what you would go to a health department to complain about. If the landlord, like after many attempts, the landlord's not fixing it, then you go complain to the agency. What I've noticed with carpet is that I've learned is that carpet is considered as like decoration. And so it's something that is so hard to argue, and I feel like it's just, I think, and I hope that one day soon I can, and there's even other organizations that are going to work on this too, but they're trying to understand and see how it can play out, where they can just figure out that carpet should be something that should be replaced quite often. And this, I've learned from another lawyer that I spoke with that in Hollywood, there is a regulation that actually asks landlords to replace carpets every couple of years. I don't know exactly what that is.
It would be great, like every 7 years.
Yeah, so but there isn't anything like that for LA City yet. But I think there should be, because there are a lot of studies, public health studies, that show that carpet is not great to have in a home for long term, because it does collect a lot of dust and allergens, and people tend to develop, breathing problems over time.
I agree.
Yeah. So that's the interesting part. So like if you have developed, what I have seen work is for certain families where they go to doctors regularly, and then the kids develop their, allergies or breathing problems. So the doctors then make some kind of recommendation that carpet stuff should be removed, and then the families would go complain with the health department with that kind of documentation. Then the health department would actually ask the landlord to replace the carpet with hardwood flooring or something else. I've seen that happen. So that seems to be the way to work to get rid of carpet. But the goal should be ultimately for landlords to stop putting carpet, but some people like carpet too, so I guess there has to be a way to replace the carpet every so often for those reasons. Yeah.
So, she said she's going to replace the carpeting, and she actually sent me an email saying that. So, but then she said she's going to fix the carpeting of the neighbor next door because it's got a rip on it, and she's so scared of complaining to the landlord, right? My next door neighbor is Kathy. She's 61 years old. She's only like 2 years older than me, right? And she's so scared. She's got a steady job as a teacher, so she's so scared of complaining to the landlord that she says, they've already measured it on July 8th. They measured it a week later, July 15th, and right now it's end of July and nothing has been done, and we haven't been contacted about. And then landlord says, we're going to change Alex's carpet in apartment 6 and Kathy's apartment in apartment 5 at the same time. It's like, that's not going to happen, right? And then he goes, the fact is that I don't get any support from Kathy in apartment 5 But when you phone her, you actually have rips in your carpet, you know, and you said you tripped on them and you took pictures, you know, and you send the pictures you actually can upload pictures to the tenant portal or the complaint thing as well, which is a blessing, right? But she took it, and that's why they measured her carpet, but nothing's been done for hers, and mine doesn't have rips or tears like hers does. And she said she fell a few times and tripped a few times. So it's like,
yeah, that needs
so
to be
I was like,
sure.
I feel like going, if I can't get backup from my neighbor, you know, who's got a steady, great job, how can I get any backup from myself doing, you know, complaining, you know? I goes, well, we can ignore Alice in apartment 6 because Kathy in apartment 5 is not complaining at all, so we can ignore her too, right? But if she put a little more thing, right, you know, but I mean, Kathy in apartment 5 is a single woman, you know, divorced, so I guess she's not going to complain even though she's got a steady job, right? It's like kind of going, well, your lack of complaining is not backing up my issue here. If she complained about her carpet, they'd replace her carpet and mine at the same time. But
right.
she's just like waiting and waiting, being professional victim, right? You know, and we've been, the only one that's not a professional victim is apartment 3, right? You know, Josh, he complains. It's the housing board. He complains by email. He complains by phone. He knows all the stuff, and he gets everything done fixed. Perfect. He's gold to me. He's gold, but you know, I mean, Josh is in his early 30s, you know, so he's a smart one, and we all think he's like, you know, it's like, it goes, Josh, we asked him for advice, but then he moved out, you know, because he and his wife split up, you know, and you know, about a year ago. So it's like, right. So it's like, it's annoying.
Yeah.
Like he moved out 6 blocks away, but still not in the building anymore to guide us. So we don't have a chief anymore that knows all the rules. And because we don't know the rules, it's easy for us to be victimized, right? As tenants, it's easy, right?
Yes. Yeah. I'm seeing that too. Hey, have you ever talked to a lawyer about your housing situation?
Have I ever talked to a lawyer about my housing situation? I think I did go to the West Hollywood tenant something. There was where you could complain on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock or Sundays in the afternoon one time many years ago, because I had an issue with a landlord, and they helped me out. It was free, whatever. But now that the offices are closed due to COVID, right? You know, and COVID has been the worst thing for tenants ever, because it victimizes them. It victimizes them because it shuts all their avenues of you know, financial support, offices to contact, people to contact, connections to contact. Just like, so COVID-19 is not a blessing for tenants. It's not a blessing because it's screwed work-wise and it's screwed legally because all the legal offices are closed and stuff, and all the tenant rights offices are closed and stuff. You know, it's like, it's not a blessing. I don't care about paying. I don't care that the big blue bus is free now. I don't care that the Metro bus is free now. I don't care that going on the train is, you still have to pay, you know, but, you know, I don't care that all these buses are free. I'd rather have it the old way where I have to pay, right? At least the economy was better. COVID-19 has been a curse. It's been the worst thing that's ever happened in my life. I'd rather have a world war, like World War III, right? You know, have a war than having this COVID-19. It's like living through the Great Depression of 1929 to 1939. It's horrible, right? Maybe after, and I ask people, when is COVID-19 going to end? He goes, oh, it's going to end November 4th. I go, so what do you mean November 4th? One day after the election, stupid, right? Because that's when COVID-19 will not be an issue, right? All of a sudden, it can't be used as a political football for both people, you know, Republicans and Democrats, right? So it's like, right, whatever. I mean, if Trump loses, he loses. If he wins, he wins. You know, Biden wins, he wins. If he loses, he loses. You know,